So we're doing a round brush blow dry set. So it's going to be a nice big bouncy blow dry, and we're basically just setting every section that we do to give it more hold and more movement in body. And I made a video showing how I pre-dried the hair before we start to put the round brush in there. So if you want to see that, then watch the video before this. So I've already prepped my hairline with heat protectant and gotten that all set. So now I'm gonna prep my hair with some products to help hold some of the volume we're about to put in it. So first I'm gonna put a little bit of a blow dry spray in there. And this is gonna have a heat protectant in it, and it's going to just help smooth any frizz as well, and it's a leave-in conditioner. I like to put it in my hand because my hair is fine, and I don't want it to weigh my hair down. I also wanna make sure I'm putting it in the places that I want it. Instead, when I just kind of spritz it around and it's heavy like that, it can end up a lot in one spot and not at all in another spot, and that's not helpful. So I like to really get that in through my ends because those are dry and need more moisture and protection. Now I'm gonna use Confixer, which is a gel. We're just gonna put a little bit of that in. This is gonna help just give us a little bit of hold in the blow dry, kind of help create some body in there too. So I'm gonna just kind of work that mids to ends. So what you're gonna want for this video is some butterfly clips like this, and then some alligator clips like this, a round brush, and of course a blow dryer and an attachment. So first we're gonna section it out. I'm gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna section it, do a couple sections to just keep us really organized. I'm doing just like a little horseshoe, doing that bottom underneath my occipital bone right here, and then I'm gonna move up for the next one and go a bit higher from kind of your parietal recession here from your hairline and above that. And I like to put my fingers right around here and then do a little twist. That tends to hold the hair pretty well. So I'm gonna take this stuff now, and I'm gonna swap this clip right here. And I'm gonna be taking pretty big sections, but obviously if you have more hair, then you can take smaller sections, or you can kind of do a little bit of variety depending on your hair type or how big you want the blowout to be. We're gonna start by putting the round brush right up at the root here. And I like to say I don't turn it a ton, but I turn it a little bit to kind of just lock it in. We're gonna place the heat right over the top and not really move it too much. We're gonna pull down, and I just follow the air all the way down to the end, and then spin on the ends there. And as long as you're pointing the air kind of on the round of the brush, you're still going to get some movement to that. So, you know, as you get more advanced, you can kind of spin a little bit higher, but I don't want anyone to focus on that until later. So let's just get this smooth all the way down. Make sure to roll on the ends. And then we're gonna turn the dryer off. Then you can kind of roll it up a little bit, let it cool. I would just pull that off right away, and you can see you're gonna have a little bit of a bend there, right? So then we're gonna take our fingers and just roll that up nicely. I like to kind of hang on to the very tail end of the curl and pull that up. And then we're gonna take one of these pins and try to grab some of the hair from the base, and then that little end hair in through there and pin that, and that's gonna kind of hold. And then you can add a little bit of spray to that right away. And basically what this is gonna do is it's going to cool in this full curl pattern. So instead of it laying nice and smooth because you've let it cool straight, you're letting it cool in this. So it's kind of like heating it up with a curling iron almost, and then having that fullness and letting it cool that way. Other side, we're gonna do the same thing. Get the brush right up at the top there. Turn it a little bit as you come down, and then once you get to the ends, turn it a lot. Keep the air just right in the same spot. You can go through again. Just keep that air right over the top. It's gonna give you like a nice, smooth, silky finish, but because we're spinning once we get towards the end, you're getting that curl. And because you're heating the round brush up, you're creating a curl around the round brush. So then we pull that off. You can already see that happening. Basically, we're enhancing it though by grabbing and wrapping because it's still hot. The hair is still hot. And same thing, we're going to take a little bit of that base hair and the tail there and put clip right in there. We're gonna do a little spritz. Now that's going to cool. So now we're gonna move up from there to our second section. And I'm gonna do the same thing, split it in half. I take big section. I recommend when you start out going a little bit smaller, unless you have the same amount of hair as me. I'm just gonna split this in half and literally just do 2 sections. The more sections you have, the more pins you're gonna need, so be prepared for that too. So I put it up here, spin a little bit, air on the top, kind of warm that up a bit. Now we're gonna put it right on the round brush and kind of pull down, spin a tiny bit as you get to the end, and then spin a lot once you get to the very ends. And keep the air on the round part of the round brush. I'm gonna go back through and do it again just to make sure it's completely dry and has a lot of bend to it. What I did is I kind of went all the way down to the end, and then I rolled it back up a little bit. Then you can see that there's some of that curl already happening in here, and allowing it to cool this way is what's going to just kind of solidify that curl. It can be a little bit scary going into a blow dry and being scared you get kind of stuck like this. So just remember to pull all the way down to the ends first, get the ends curled around, and then wrap up, heat it up, but then still unroll it. So we're gonna do that same thing, heat it up all the way down to the ends here. Roll on the ends. The ends are the most important to make sure that you get those nice and smooth. So those have that nice silky curl on the end. Instead, you know, you could get halfway down and not get those ends in, and those are gonna be really fuzzy, but then heat it up, and then at the end, you're gonna get this kind of fuzziness through the bottom of the curl, and that's not gonna look good or polished. So making sure you get all the way to the ends, really polishing those, and then you can roll it up and heat it up. Same thing here, we're gonna pull that out. You can see how nice these little baby hairs are laying. Instead of these would all be sticking straight out with this curl if I had tried to do those with the round brush instead of prepping the hair beforehand with the Denman. Pin that one. We're gonna do a little spritz, spritz. And then we're gonna do the same thing over here. Split this in half. Back section first to keep us organized. I just like to use the same hand on both sides if I'm able, because I'm better at it that way. Start with the air up here, with the air on the brush, to add that movement. You can kind of blow those little hairs down. Curl on the end, right on the brush. Spin a little bit to pull those ends into the brush. Roll up, heat it up, turn it off, unroll. And keep in mind, I don't have any layers in the back of my hair. So my sections are really long, and also this is going to make the back of my hair a little heavier and it's not gonna pop up as much, but I need more fullness in through the ends of my hair because I don't have as much hair. So if you have more of a layered haircut, you're gonna get a lot more bounciness in through this area than I am. Front section. Hello. Hair directly on the round brush, returning a little bit as we pull down. Really spinning on those ends, rolling up, heating up, pulling off, twirling, and making sure to grab some of the base and the little end you curled up, because otherwise the whole thing will unravel. Spritz, spritz. Now the top section. And this is a pretty big section. You could definitely make it smaller and kind of do some more exactly like this, but I'm going to do it like this because, again, I just don't have that much hair to deal with. We start sectioning now across the part, and this again is going to give you just nice volume over this entire top, and then you can decide your part from there. All right, so I'm gonna pick all of this up. It's already mostly dry from my pre-dry. I'm just gonna make sure that the roots are nice and dry. So I'm gonna put the hair over this way first and just hit the roots a little bit. Going forward, making sure that those are completely dry so I'm not trying to dry them when the round brush is up top. Then from there, I'm gonna go the other way. Kind of lock that in really nicely. Put some air right up in there, and we're gonna pull forward so we can see exactly what we're doing the whole time. We have a lot of control. I'm keeping the air right over the curve of the round brush, pulling all the way to the front. Let's start from the back again, pulling all the way to the front. And then I'm gonna start a little bit further just to give myself a little more control. And then I'm gonna roll, and I'm gonna spin up, heat that up really nice. And again, I don't really have layers back here, so my sections are really long. So I'm gonna kind of smooth that out a little bit more since I'm using a lot of hair. And I need to have as much control as possible. And then I'm going to wrap that around my entire hand. And I would not recommend starting out with this big of sections. So when you're working on yourself, try to come up maybe a little bit higher with these so that you just have a little bit more control over what you're doing. So I'm gonna use an alligator clip for this because it's a little bigger. I'm also getting ready for work right now and on the way to work, so I'm kind of in a rush. So that's another reason I'm taking big sections, because I don't got time to be taking tiny little sections. So I'm gonna section that off just so that I don't end up grabbing it. All right, so I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Lay it over the top. I like to kind of pull on that to get some nice control and tension in there so it's hanging on to the hair and it's not all just gonna fall off. So I kind of squeeze it together like that, right? To make it a little smaller instead of it all being fanned out like that. I'm gonna turn it a little just to hang on a little tighter. Push all that forward just to get the roots nice and dry and help just give us a little more volume. Now, I'm gonna go the opposite direction. Again, nice and tight. We're gonna pull forward and pull forward. And it's so much easier to do it this way than trying to go up, especially if you don't have really short layers up here, because it's so hard to reach, and that's gonna be like a crazy arm workout, and it's just gonna make you not wanna do it, basically. So we're gonna spin, spin, spin on the ends. Roll up, heat it up, pull it off. And we're gonna use this alligator clip that we have up here for this one. Twist it up and grab that whole section and spritz. Last section, same exact thing. Pulling all this down first, smoothing it out, opposite way. Let's blow some of those little hairs up in there. Heat that up a little bit, and then pull down. And I'm putting the air right on this curve of the blow dry, or of the round brush to get a nice bend in there. And we're gonna roll, roll, roll. And just one nice smooth pass before I roll it up, just to keep it really nice and clean and organized. So I'm gonna unroll that one. And if you need to kind of brush through it with this, just like get it all together. I like to wrap it around my fingers and just kind of pull it through, roll it up. And I am out of pins, so I'm gonna take this one because this is nice and cool. So I'm gonna pull this one out, boop, and put that up here. These are done, done, done. So, and these ones are not. So, spray that. You can spritz everything one more time. And then we're gonna start taking these out. So, whoa, that one's real nice and curly. But you can see even here, look at how much volume is there. just from you pinning that up and kind of grabbing some of that base there, you're kind of bumping it up a little bit. So we're gonna go through and grab all these out. You can see you've got that volume there. You can kind of spray as you go. I honestly don't need that much volume, so I'm good on the hairspray. But this also, it's like curled hair. So it's nice to do this because it lasts days. And then you can kind of have this as a base for any other styles that you're gonna do, like putting a half up or a ponytail. You're gonna have a lot of volume to work with. You also, like I said, have part versatility here. So you're gonna have balance throughout this whole top section, and you're going to be able to decide, do I want a part over here? Do I want a part in the center? Do I want a part on this side? Do I want an off-center part? And you've got all this volume that you're working with. And you have a nice clean hairline that's not sticking straight out of your head. So this one's already cool. And I also recommend like day 2 hair, whatever. If you're just gonna clean up the hairline, you can totally go through and just do like this front section with the round brush and pin it up like this, do your makeup, and then let it cool, and then pull this down, because it's going to give you a lot of just like bounce and movement. And having these front sections done like that is going to give you like a full fresh looking style without having redone your entire head of hair. So you can see, combing through that, how much body I get. And it kind of wanted to lay over here. So we could go with that, but also you can pull some over here, going center. But then also all of this over your crown, such nice, pretty volume. You can go over here, have that come up and over. That's kind of fun. Ooh, look at how spicy that is. Even though I don't have a lot of, layers in the back, I've still got a lot of body and movement. And if you've got shorter pieces in the back here, all of this movement is actually gonna come up higher. So you're gonna see a lot more bounce than I will, because I don't have many layers except for just around my face. And really those are all still long too. Be sure to watch the pre-dry tutorial that I did prepping my hair for this look. If you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe and let me know what else you want to see. Thank you so much for watching.